we have finally received an official announcement for the Season 2 of Tekken 8 with a lot of details actually and some hints for new characters, but we need to start discussing what does this game need to get into new heights and become the best game it can be. To me, Tekken 8 has the potential, and I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna expose my hot take, to be the best Tekken in the history of the Tekken franchise. It has the best visuals of any fighting game ever, in my opinion. And it has really good core gameplay design. It of course needs tweaking and changes in terms of system mechanics, but in terms of philosophy design of the gameplay, like the game is great. So let's actually get into discussion of what needs to happen. If you enjoy fighting game content, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing. It helps me like crazy and it keeps the channel growing. And now let's actually get into it. So the first thing we gotta talk about before we start discussing system mechanics is of course the big announcements, okay? We know that Anna is coming on Season 2. It was basically a hint at the video. Some people are saying that it's the last DLC character, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that it's going to be the first character for Season 2 of the game, and I think it's great. It's a great pick for a new character. I'm super happy with it. This, of course, kind of confirms that we're gonna get probably a guest character on the Game Awards announcement, so go check out my other video in which I discuss which characters could we get. To me, those are the big announcements, you know, characters are always super exciting. So what do we need in terms of gameplay for this game to be the best it can be? As you're seeing on the screen now, we're gonna get new moves for every character. Now, this is important because a lot of characters in this game, if they get one key new move that is actually good, they can go up the tier list like crazy. Like for example, take a character like Claudio. If you give a Claudio, for example, a low that is a counter hit launcher that is not awful, the character could become top 5. You know, it's the only thing it needs. It's the only flaw it has, and there's a lot of characters like this in this game. There's a lot of different, you know, characters that at the end of the day, with only one key change and a new move that actually makes their weakness a little better, they could become busted. Aside from new moves, which is very relevant, the announcement also says that we're gonna get system changes and balance changes. So specifically, which system changes could make the game better? In general terms, I personally believe that 1, we need to change the hit system in some ways, and 2, we need to change rate charts. To me, those two things are the main problem in the game. Or not a problem, but they are the two main core system mechanics that need some tweaking. Let's address rate charts first. So when it comes to rate charts, I think that there is 2 options with how you can change them. To me, they should be in the game. Like, they are very fun, entertaining. In, you know, pure entertainment terms, they are good, and they are gorgeous, a lot of them. So you should not eliminate them. Like, that would be insane. But how could you make them more balanced? Well, the problem with rate charts is that you have them every round. It feels very stupid, like it's too much. So, in my personal opinion, you should change the way in which you have access to rate chart. It should not be related to your health bar. It should be connected to, how can we call it, like a resource bar, like the drive gauge on SF6. So you should have a resource bar that builds up during fights because you did damage or took damage. For example, like very simple, you know, core fighting game mechanics. And when you have the bar full, you can rate chart. And it has the same properties, it works the same way. It also, you know, goes up in damage if you have less health. I think that should be the way in which you have access to rate chart, so you can basically do it like 1 time if the fight is short, or 2 times if the fights are too long and they are 6 rounds actually. I think that would be good. It would make it a little more balanced, and there would be more decision making around how to use it, since it's a limited resource. The second way in which you could deal with this is that you could have rate chart every single round, but you only get to use it as a reversal or parry, you know, as an armor move once. So for example, you can use it every single round, but the first time you rate chart, you use the armor version of it, the version that we have now, and all of the versions after that are only combo fodder. You know, they are used to make more damage and to have the cinematic super when you're low health, so you can in some ways use it as a whiff punish, or also use it as combo fodder. I think that would be amazing, super fun. It would take, you know, the rate charts to a level in which you can use them every round and see the cool cinematic, but you don't need to use them every time as a sort of reversal parry, you know. I think those options are what needs to happen with rate charts. If those two things don't happen, I wouldn't be that happy with the balanced state of that mechanic on Season 2. Next, we have the heat system. With the heat system, I would say that you can make also a lot of changes. I think that the heat system is fun. It's very entertaining. Again, the core system mechanics of the game are super entertaining. The problem is that they feel very stupid a lot of the times. So, what can you do with the heat system? I think that you need to have it every round. I think that it's fine that you have it every round because a lot of characters have a very strong identity in terms of gameplay when they are in heat. So I wouldn't want to eliminate that. I think that's fine and it's actually good in terms of design. Like, it makes the characters feel more unique. Now, personally, I believe that if you are such a strong version of the character you play when you have heat activated, maybe you shouldn't have an armor activation. Or you should only, again, have limited access in the number of times you could use it on a fight. So for example, just like the raid shard change I suggested, maybe we need to only be able to use the armor activation for heat once every fight. You know, as a unique parry, or twice, or again, as a resource bar. Everyone can of course activate heat through like heat engagers and also cancel the armor right now, but there's no way that you have a free parry every round. Like, it's too much. And of course, the worst thing is that you have a free parry and after you hit it, you are in the best state you can be as a character. It feels like too much, it feels overpowered. So I think that we need to take that away, or again, make it a limited resource in which we have to take a good decision around how to use it in a fight. You know, I think that would be good. It would keep the fun of the heat system on, but it would also make it a little less overwhelming as a mechanic and less, you know, I don't want to say that quote-unquote scrubby, okay? But I think that heat needs to stay. Like, it's a great mechanic, we just need to change it a little. The other thing is that I don't know if I'm like super into using heat, like when you're on heat and you use a heat engager, you know, and you get some plus frames after the dash. I think that maybe it's too much. Like, it feels like you get free 3 turns, because you get the turns that you get when you're on heat because you have plus frames on that state, and then you get another one after you get out of the heat, like actual, you know, version of the character. I think that you shouldn't have plus frames after you heat dash. Maybe you should just be 0 frames, you know, and it's a neutral state, or only like +1, +2. Not, we have +5 now, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it feels like way too much. And the other thing that needs to happen is that we need to eliminate heat engagers that are power crushes. It's incredibly stupid. Why do we have moves like so strong as power crushes that also put you on heat and with so many plus frames on top of that? Like, it feels incredibly ridiculous. If you want to use a power crush, use it, but get a heat activation because you used it well, like, it's too much. Maybe you could keep it with, for some characters, you know, like King, for example, because it makes sense with the identity of the character, or with something like Jack 8. But why would, like, almost the whole roster has armor moves that have access to heat engagers? It's too much, dude. That also needs some tweaking. That would be personally some of the changes I would do to the system mechanics, but as I said, in terms of core gameplay design, the system mechanics are great. I think that they just need some tweaking. And finally, when it comes to character balance, I mean, I think we all what needs to happen. Like, we need to nerf Joshi, we need to nerf Nina, maybe we need to nerf Dragunov a little more, but not a lot, or the character is gonna die. Like, it's not that far away from dying if you nerf it too hard. We can also, you know, nerf Jin a little. Feels very overpowered still, but fun character. We could also nerf Alyssa a little more. And then, you know, you get to characters that maybe don't need nerfs really, like Claudio, you know, like also Kuma. Like, those characters are good, they are very strong, but I don't know if they need nerfs. I feel like they are good in the state that they are now because they have specific weaknesses that are clear. Now, if you for example, again, the thing that I said earlier, you give Claudio a good low, aside from the ones that he has, and he has like a new counter hit launcher low that is, I don't know, 19, 20 frames, or maybe less. Maybe you need to nerf some mids if you're gonna do that, you know? But aside from that, I don't know which other balance changes for characters we need that is not going to kill the roster, because we gotta be careful about that. The power level of this game is very high, but we want characters to be powerful so that everyone is viable. We don't want to kill the top 10 characters so that we have to play a mid-tier character because it was the only one that didn't get nerfed. So be careful with what we wish in that specific terms. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing, and keep enjoying some Tekken, dude. Let's wait for Season 2 and let's hope that it is great.